So in Yutu's argument, he pretty much says that someone that kills someone, in return they should also be killed. So he pretty much wants an eye for an eye when it comes to for the death penalty. But pretty much the death penalty it could be considered murder itself because it's like a pre-deliberate planning on someone's death, isn't it? And that's a crime in this country. He then also talks about how because the death penalty is not in place for some states, that it leaves victims like traumatized, and victim has no closure at all. But a study by the California Crime Victim for Alternatives to the Death Penalty, they say that the coalition of murder, the California Crime Victims for Alternative to Death Penalty is a coalition of murder victim families, members who support alternatives to the death penalty. After a loss of a loved one to homicide, they are left with a clear awareness that the death penalty fails to address the needs of victims on many counts. So even victims, they don't even want the death penalty in place because they feel like it won't solve the problem. And plus, since most of the criminals, they have to stay on death row for like 10 plus years, all the way up to almost 20 years, they have to hold on for that much longer in order for their problems to be solved or to feel to feel better afterwards. And in Eric's speech, he also says that there's overcrowding in prisons and then people have to share rooms and they have to sleep by windows, but they're in prisons for a reason. Why do we have to care that, oh, they have to share a room, like this is not a hotel, why do you have to worry about getting your own room? What are you scared about? You're in prison for a reason, you committed a crime, so they shouldn't even worry about that. That shouldn't be even a big problem. And if there is a big problem with overcrowding, we have the money that we could save from abolishing the death penalty just to build more jails for these inmates. But it doesn't have to be like a lavish jail, like, oh, they're gonna get luxury here and there, because it is a prison. And then Eric also brings up the point about how there was a prison escape in Mexico of a drug lord and how he escaped. But also in Mexico, there is a corrupt government. Pretty much all the drugs cartel run the government. So there isn't it's just inevitable to happen because the government, Mexico's government is just too weak to handle itself. And in Yutu's argument, he brings up the point that there's a short-term effect on homicide, but he didn't look at the long-term effect. And in the long term, homicide does decrease, and there is statistics by the Death Penalty Information Center, and it tells you all the statistics by year from 1991 to 2013 about the difference between states with death penalty and the homicide rate, and states without death penalty and their homicide rates. So to sum it up, the death penalty is better to be abolished because there's so many benefits, such as saving money, and then you don't have to also be like this. It offers closure sooner, and it's more humane for our society.